There's always a picture of a mountain with the in back of the quote, or some kind of nature.
Yeah.
It's always a nature
Or some type of animal, like a beast, and it's like they underestimated that you're a warrior woman of one.
There's the lone wolf alpha male guys that do the. It's a picture of like a it's like a bear or a wolf or some kind of predator, and they'll be like, you've woken the beast.
Oh yeah.
It's like women like you were saying who go through a breakup. Or
it'll be like a fairy. It'll be like a fairy, or it'll be like the moon with some type of thing.
Yeah,
and it's like they didn't know your struggles, but your struggles only made you stronger, or something.
Struggles made you stronger.
It's always some absurd thing, and it's like, we get it. Brian cheated on you. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry you found out that Dennis was gay. Like it was. I don't know. It's just so. It's like clockwork every time. Every time you're like, I'll scroll through Instagram stories, and it's like, oh, here's a show, or here's me and the wifey. We're on Cabo or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, here we go. Here's the motivational quotes. Either somebody hasn't re-upped their meds yet, or someone hasn't done another appointment with their therapist, or Jennifer just got divorced. It's every time. It's always the same. It's mostly women. There's a couple ones that are dudes. We were talking about that. Like it's like a dude.
If a dude is posting mountain motivation quotes, that's trouble. That's real.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the next step before he either
like suicide watch.
Yeah. It's the next step before you have to take his shoelaces.
Yeah. Give me your belt and shoelaces.
Give me your belt and shoelaces and any sharp objects. You're only allowed one Tylenol PM.
Make sure those closed circuit cameras are working.
No alcohol, one Tylenol. That's it.
Guards are
caffeinated. It's the word. It's so weird because on one hand, we're talking about people who are on that have been spit through the meat grinder of love.
Yeah, and isn't it insane how random chance, like love and luck and like with all that stuff, because it's so easy to just have a bad go at it, Yeah, and it's like it's all kind of like luck, timing. It's a million factors that go into it.
Yeah.
Very difficult to make it work out, And it's like of nobody's fault, but you're going to end up posting mountains.
And it's so weird because I see it. I try to keep heed of it because I don't want to be the cautionary tale, because I have historically been the one of my favorite songs is off the Pretty Woman soundtrack. It's I forgot the name of the band.
Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison.
No. But the song is off the Pretty Woman soundtrack, and it's called "The King of Wishful Thinking."
Okay.
Oh my God, it's.
I'm not familiar.
Oh God, it's such a good song. I'm not gonna try to sing it because I'm gonna butcher it.
Yeah.
And and also my voice is raspy because I just got done being sick or whatever. But it's such a good song, and it encapsulates me and a lot of guys like myself. Like just to give you an idea of the type of dude I was for a long time. I'm hopeless romantic. I used to write poetry. I was the type of guy that I would go to Walgreens and I would buy like they had Whitman samplers. This was a long time ago. Whitman samplers for like almost a quarter a piece, right? The little heart-shaped boxes of chocolate.
Oh yeah.
I'd buy a shitload of them, and then I would buy cards and candy, things like that. All that were real cheap, a whole bunch of them stockpiled. And then when Valentine's Day rolled around, I knew that girls that had a boyfriend, their boyfriend would get them something. They all had girlfriends that were single, and they were all bummed out that no one got them anything. So what I did was I would pull from my stockpile of Walgreens goodies and give all these girls. I was basically just the king simp of middle school. I was just giving women.
You're white knighting.
Oh my God! I might as well just be like "milady," Oh my God! I am Sir.
You milady.
I'm Sir. Won't get laid till 20, which is what happened. But no, it was I used to give girls, and there's a lot of women that are like, that's so sweet. But it's like, my thing is like,
were you giving them, even at a young age, were you giving them candy just to be sweet, or did you hope that they were like would take an interest in you and want to?
Honestly, I mean,
I don't know how old you were.
Well,
are you talking like 6th grade?
Dude, I started from like 6th to high school.
Oh,
I did
wow,
this.
okay.
I did this. Well, it was, for one thing, I generally did not like seeing girls like feel bad on Valentine's Day, like for not like getting it, because it's a commercialized holiday, whatever. But like, it's just, I knew, because I didn't like not receiving something, but the general populace doesn't view boys' feelings on things like Valentine's Day with great stride,
or much of anything, really.
Honestly, yeah, they don't really give a shit about men in general. Honestly, for most part, that's why we're
at
posting
least men's feelings.
Yeah, that's why we're posting wolf clips and shit and fucking.
That's how you end up in a gray tattered American flag.
Yeah, with my Ray-Bans, and I'm ranting about transgender youth or some shit like that.
Oh God.
No, my thing is I empathize, and it's like, well, if no one else is going to do it, I have the thought, let me do it. And then I also like the validation, just a little bit, like, thank you. I didn't like when people like harped on it. It made me feel weird. But I don't know. Just after a while, though, it's like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I actually feel bad, or am I doing it for like what you were saying? I'm like, I want some of these girls to like take an interest in me.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're not, because if they were going to take an interest in me, they would already taken an interest in me.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Which is something you learn, I think, sometimes when it takes too long for some guys to learn, but women are very like intentional. So like I've seen it a million times. I've done it myself, but I learned it along the way. And I've seen other guys, like friends of mine, do it for longer, but they'll pursue a woman, or a girl or whatever, and they like won't give them the time of day or anything. And I'm like, man, just like don't just be like, like good, go, because if they want to see you or like hang out with you or spend time with you, they'll make time for it. They'll make it happen.
Or they'll reach out to try to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's the other. Yeah, that's the other side of it, is they pursue you. But yeah, it's interesting. And then guys are like that, but more like just. I think guys like to be scumbags for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I used to want to disassociate myself with the idea of being a scumbag and just wanting. But women do it all the time. They
do it as like social ascension too. Like they'll see multiple guys and they'll be like, choose your own adventure, choose the best path, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Which that stinks if you're like a romantic, because talk about crushing romance is like you're dating, but the girl's like, you're like taking a girl out on a date. And the night before she was on Tinder or whatever. But then if you meet someone on Tinder, that's fun. One of the dogs farted.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Oof.
Okay. Yeah.
That's romance.
Yeah. No, that's actually true romance.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's another thing is like
if you're smelling dog farts in your own house, that's
that's when you know you're married. That's what
is this a home?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, but I don't know. It's just so weird because like I also am the type that like when I'm interested in someone, I think I've gotten to the point in my life now where I am okay with just like I don't really want to pursue this person like forever. I just want to have some fun with them, and that be that. Like maybe
sometimes that's if you're straightforward with that, you're like. Sometimes that works, depending on the girl's situation.
Yeah, but my problem is I think I missed that time frame in life.
Yeah,
because I'm about to be 40. Like, there's not a lot of women that are like, I just want to have sex. No, not at this age. No.
Yeah,
It's a lot of That's why I'm noticing more of these. Well, they underestimated you when you were given everything your all. You know, that like these weird quotes. Because it's like they're all like wanting to like change their life. Like there's like
they think a relationship will do that. Sometimes that people will think like, oh, if I just get in a relationship, like everything will work out. And a lot of times, like people don't think through that a relationship becomes both of your problems merge together.
Yeah,
and you both get to work on them, but it's two sets of problems. It's two lives you're managing instead of just your own.
Yeah.
On your own. So it's like pros and cons to it, you know?
Yeah.
It depends how much of a mess your partner is.
Yeah.
You know, and usually one person's more of a mess than the other. You know?
And yeah, and then also I've become a magnet for women that have just a lot going on.
A lot going on, yeah, and you got to pay attention to that because that will become your stuff. You know, and it has to, because if you're in a relationship, you're trying to move forward and grow and all that happy stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's and so like I just
it's a lot of deciding what you want to eat and watch TV.
But you were talking about I was talking about the dog farts, but that's another thing. It's like, you know, like I don't like this whole best foot forward style of dating. Like, I want you to present your flaws. How about we go on a first date and you wear no fucking makeup, none of it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I want you to be in pajamas, because if we're dating down the road, that's all I'm gonna see from you. Is that I'm not gonna see you dolled up for the most part.
Makeup's almost false advertising on some women. Some women do their makeup in a way they call it no makeup.
Yeah, is
what women say, and it's when they do like a minimal kind of thing to make it look like they're not, but they still are.
Yeah.
But if a woman has like natural beauty, they should be beautiful without makeup. Some women are very beautiful with makeup, and then you take the makeup off and you're like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like an alien transformation from like hot girl to I don't even know how to, you know, my Kelly was watching Real Housewives, that show. I don't know where, but the one lady, it showed like a one-on-one interview, and then it showed her like in a social at a spa or something without makeup and with makeup. And I said, is that the same person? I had to ask her. And she was like, yeah. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's insane how they're, I don't want to say they're ugly, but like they just don't look like themselves. And it's a strange thing to do, to present, you know? It's weird because guys we don't have a concept of that, like, or we don't have our own version of makeup. I want to say, we look like what we look like.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're on TV where they put makeup on you for cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Like for most part, like.
But I mean, just day to day.
No, you don't see like.
We put a hat on.
You know, like, oh Dan, oh wow, I didn't recognize you, Dan, without all of your blush or whatever. I don't recognize you without all the lipstick. You know, like, I don't know. It's like, that's fine if, but it's like it's like if a man dressed up in a 3-piece suit every day.
Yeah.
Like that's not what you normally do. Like I don't know. I mean I'm all for like dressing nicely and dolling yourself, sprucing up, like putting hair, if you have hair gel and stuff like that, and just looking presentable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you know, when I've been in a long-term relationship and stuff, that's not how you see your significant other all the time.
I know, yeah.
You know, so I just think that's so weird, because it's like when you buy a car new, Sometimes I want to know what this car looks like with mud on it, because that's what it'll eventually. I want to know if I'm gonna still love this car with mud and rain, and I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
And it's fun to have it's weird when you have it kind of goes back to the mountains and the motivational quotes.
Yeah.
There's some people who portray, and this happens a lot in social media, but I think it happens in life too. There's some couples or families or whatever that want to portray we have the perfect life,
Yeah.
And that's a very phony, transparent thing, because no one's life is like that.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you're more casual type of people.
Yeah.
And you're embrace flaws and you enjoy all that stuff, because that's the fun part of life. Yeah. Where, I don't know, and I think people who expect perfection or set themselves up for disappointment or.
Yeah, I think that's another reason. I like the idea of a very what society considers a physically attractive person.
Yeah.
And stuff, but I'm a flawed person, so my thing is a hot person is more hot when I know that they're they're flawed in some capacity, I don't know.
Yeah, they're certainly more interesting.
Yeah, when they're more relatable. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, I say that. What? All right. He disagrees. He only likes hot bitches.
He's I only like 10s.
Yeah, I only do 10s. I'm not here for this Ugo talk, I say that even though I am currently Jacksonville, Florida's sexiest man.
That's right. Congratulations. How have you capitalized on it? Any ladies taking advantage?
Okay, I will say this. This was pretty funny. I did a show the night that I won. They announced the winners for all the categories.
Oh, that's fun.
Sorry. So I'm on a show, and on the show is a comedian that I dated, and in the audience are 3 different women that at one point all tried to have sex with me. And I was like, wow, okay, wow. I thought this was just I always perceived me being nominated as kind of like a fun, you know when you you go on YouTube and you're like, oh, cool, this Down syndrome kid was nominated to homecoming court. Yeah. That's how I perceived it. They did a sweet thing for this guy. But then here's the crazy part, was seeing all the women reach out to me out of nowhere, be like, hey, I voted for you, and all this stuff. Then when I won, then I screenshot at one of the comments. It was this one girl, I think she's a singer, and she was like, you have no idea how many of us have crushes on you. And I was like, what the fuck? When did I actually become a sex symbol?
You should start dressing in a smoking jacket,
I bought
Hugh Hefner.
I bought one.
Robes. You should drape yourself in velvet and stuff.
So I got
really
invited.
really embrace it.
I got invited to the winners party. It's this Friday.
Oh, cool.
For all the winners, and it's like a time machine themed or something. So I just bought this all a white smoking jacket. Almost like a tuxedo jacket.
Yeah.
And then I got white suspenders and a white bow tie.
Nice.
And then I got shoes that are white and black. And I don't know. And then I also promised that if I won, I was going to do a photo shoot and make a calendar.
Oh, I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So
you got to do that. I'll buy one.
Yeah, it's so weird though, but let's say hypothetically and that's another thing, is every show I've done since, just about every show I've done, the host has announced me, this next comic is the sexiest man in Jacksonville, and I'm expecting to catch all this pushback, like rolling eyes type of thing.
Yeah.
And none of that. And I'm like, oh, when did Fun Uncle become the sexy sex symbol look? I don't know. It's really weird. As
soon as women hit 30.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It was very strange. But
I think it's well, no, that's awesome. I think it's that's such a fun thing to win and celebrate and stuff. And I think it's Yeah, I definitely think you should embrace it. I think you should start dressing like an orgy guy.
That's so funny. Here's the funny thing is, I spent the past 16 plus years of my life trying to be like good at being funny.
Yeah.
I've never been nominated once for best comedian, right?
Yeah.
And then I get to like where I'm like top tier person, at least in the city, and I win sexiest man. Like my whole life prior to stand up was trying to be funny so people would be attracted to me.
Yeah,
because I wasn't sexy. It's a weird. No,
I totally no. I 100% get it. I had that like like doing stand up for so long.
Yeah,
and then people who do like have nothing to do with entertainment or comedy or anything.
Yeah.
The amount of people like that I know who have been on TV.
Yeah.
Like an endless supply. And I'm just like, it's so funny. These people are like trying to be on TV. They're just by like being alive. They're just like, you should be on TV.
I know.
And you're like, wait, what?
It's so weird.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing.
And then you get jaded. Comedy and love, eventually you do it long enough and you get jaded, and you I guess not expect less, but you like embrace the imperfection of it. Like I more so enjoy the flaws and the imperfection of it. I don't know. I think it's tough. Do you have any shows coming up?
I got I'm doing a show in MegaCon.
Oh, cool! In Orlando.
Yeah, nice. I'm doing the Roast of Batman. We're back.
Oh, cool.
They because I don't know if you remember me telling you. So we did the Roast of Batman years ago, and we got hit with a cease and desist letter from Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, so I heard so many different backstories.
Mr. Brothers.
Yeah, so like I heard so many different backstories as to why, and I even heard one backstory that wasn't even true. It was like, so this is the story that I was told. So we did the Roast of Batman. I was Bane, from The Dark Knight Rises, and I'm Bane again, by the way.
Nice.
And so we did the roast, and the floor we were at, we were put in a conference room that sat like 700 people. And so then they had not only did they had seat 700 people full capacity, we had an overflow line. So and it stayed the line stayed full throughout the whole show. So whenever anyone left, they would send people from the overflow line to sit in a seat. So it stayed like 700 people throughout the whole show.
Damn. How many comics were on it?
We had I think we had 8 or 9.
And you were the dais too, so everyone were people roasting each other.
Oh, the 8 or 9 was the whole dais.
Okay. Oh, and then everyone was dressed up like characters?
Yeah, everyone dressed like characters. So, yeah.
So they were roasting the characters?
We're roasting the characters, but we're also roasting each other. Like, for example, like an upcoming one.
Like Robin got fat, or,
Yeah. Like, look at Robin, or look at Batman. Would you eat Robin? If it's like a fat Batman or something. And so the thing was, like, we crushed it. 700 people. And then apparently there was on our floor and then the floor below us were 2 like celebrity panels where you paid extra money. Ours was a free show. Like if you paid admission, you got to go to our show for free. But the other 2 shows, the other 2 panels or whatever, you had to pay extra money. And we outdrew both of them.
Oh, wow.
And supposedly, this is what I heard, this is one of the stories, was that like one of the panels was like whining about it because they're like, hey, this free show outdrew us, and they're doing something. They're doing like filthy Batman jokes. And I don't think Warner Brothers would like it. So supposedly they narked on us.
Wow.
Oh, but so the other story was
upstage them?
The other story was that one of the guys on our panel he's like this big dude that's really enmeshed with MegaCon, that whole community. Like he's like a higher up in that world. Well, he was on the roast and he bombed hard.
Oh,
And supposedly he was embarrassed, and then he's the one who supposedly made up the story.
No one can ever do this ever.
Yes, yeah, like he made up the
cease and desist. No one show the film.
Because I was wondering why we were able to do Roast of Batman at Tampa MegaCon that same year.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a second, that don't make any sense.
Yeah,
so I don't know. But long story short, we're back. We're able to do it. We had to preface a lot. There was a lot of like, this is not a family show. This is not a family show. This is not a family show. And there's gonna be a lot of those. Even though we're roasting the character, there's gonna be a lot of like meta roasting of, like, for example, our Harley Quinn is Jamaican.
Oh, that's fun.
Our Joker is Puerto Rican, like shit like that.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of like meta Joker jokes and stuff. Like, oh, this is the only Joker that listens to Bad Bunny, or whatever bullshit. Yeah. So I was tinkering like what kind of Bane should I be, because I was even thinking about like taking the mask off and then I just talk all with sassy like I'm gay Bane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
All fat and sassy.
All fat and sassy. Oh yeah, I've seen that clip, dude, so many times. That older lady with like crooked teeth.
Yeah.
All fat and sassy.
Well, that's fun. That should be a good time. I did San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years.
Yeah.
That was fun. We never did a roast thing. I did like
an actual show.
No, it wasn't stand-up. It was like an improv gig promoting a novel. And that wasn't too notable. It was like an easy gig. And it paid decent. But I remember, I don't think I've told you the story, but it was like a heat wave when we did it. So I was in a suit and I was hot. I was very hot.
Yeah.
It was like, probably in the high 90s or whatever.
Oh, wow.
But there was a special effects group that was there. And they had like this big guy in a demon costume.
Yeah.
And it looked like something out of Doom, like the video game Doom.
Yeah.
Or like it looked like a hell demon kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was, I don't know how they did it. It was one of the most impressive makeup things I've ever seen, and it was so detailed.
Yeah.
But there was like handlers, and the guy walks out and he does this big like reach up, and these like wings open up from his back.
Oh shit.
And so it was huge, like 20 feet in the air.
Wow.
And he did this whole thing, and it was impressive, and everyone's standing there like, oh my god. And it comes back down, and he keeps walking with the handlers, and he walks by just near me, and I hear him say to the people, I'm so fucking hot. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. It's like, there's just a little man in there sweating his ass off.
Oh, dude. One of my favorite things that I used to do at MegaCon, I stopped. I haven't done it the last couple times, but last year's MegaCon was the first year I haven't done it since 2016.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Well, in 2020, obviously we didn't do it, but but I used to do this thing where I would do some type of funny prank type thing. So one year I put together a bunch of weird random shit. Like I put a luchador mask, a leather vest, and these huge clown gaucho pants, right?
Yeah.
And I just walked around, and people were like, "What are you?" And I just convinced people that I was some obscure manga character. And I got people to take pictures of me.
Oh, that's funny.
And then the other year, I set up, so they had the autograph booths, right? And they had these empty tables. There was no name in front of it. It had a line queue and everything.
Yeah.
And I took a piece of like cardboard paper or like poster board or whatever that I got from like Walgreens, and I put get a picture with some unknown guy, put a piece of tape, and I sat there, and I had my buttons. I had my merch buttons that I was selling for comedy.
Yeah.
And I sat there, and a line formed.
That's
People
awesome.
were like wanting to meet this random guy, and at one point I think it was like 20 deep, and then finally like someone from the MegaCon was like, you gotta cut that out. You gotta cut it out.
Who are you, Virgil?
Yeah. And then what? That same year, I basically just took a smaller sign, and I put it like around like my lanyard. I was like, get a picture of a random guy, And people all over were taking pictures with me. It was crazy.
That's fun.
And then another one was I dressed as Fat Thor from one of the Marvel Avengers movies.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen it. It was like Thor get like this is after like one of the movies where like they do the snap and like half the population in the universe like disappears. And like Thor gets depressed.
Thanos does that, right?
Yeah, and then like Thor gets depressed and he gets fat.
Oh,
yeah, he gets.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like just jiggly tits and everything, dude.
Oh man.
And so I've dressed up as like Fat Thor from that movie.
Oh, that's good.
And so funny because mine was clearly like a Temu version of the Fat Thor. It was like my Thor hammer was a yoga block, like foam.
Oh yeah.
I spray painted it silver, and then I had like the handle of a broom that was broken. It was clearly a homemade looking thing.
Yeah.
Other Fat Thors, I mean, you could tell they spent hundreds of dollars, and it was so funny because it's like you didn't have to do any of that, dude. I have 35, 40 people take pictures with me. I spent like $12 collectively.
Oh, man.
Because it was basically like Fat Thor dresses like the dude from
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like people are like, "Are you the dude or what are you?" I'm like, "I'm Fat Thor, but I'm also the dude. Whatever you want me to be, dude."
That's fun. I loved in Comic-Con in San Diego, there was everyone was dressed up, I guess that's what everyone does there.
Yeah.
But I would walk around and it would always be the fattiest neckbeard dudes.
Uh-huh.
And just, I mean, like tens, these women dressed as like Storm or all these different women superhero things.
Yeah.
You never see Ripley from Aliens. That would be fun.
I've seen, the last time I was at MegaCon, I saw Ripley and the suit.
Oh, and
someone made the fucking
Xenomorph?
No. The suit she battles the queen.
Oh, yeah.
It was her in that shit, dude.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah.
Laura Croft, is a popular one. But anyway, it's like there's these women that are like models mixed in with the like neckbeard dudes.
Oh God!
And I always thought it was so funny because I worked at a couple of years doing different things.
Yeah.
But it was just I would just walk around and be like enamored. It would like amazing.
Well, apparently some of those neckbeard dudes must have got like too enamored with some of them because like the last couple of times I was at MegaCon. They had signs plastered all over that said cosplay is not consent. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I get to it. Not that I like understand it, but like there's a lot of, there'll be like these hot chicks with their tits like basically out. And it's awesome. You're like, man, that's great. But I'd imagine it a neckbeard dude combined with a character they like, combined with a real life hot woman might be like overload, for them.
Yeah.
It might overdo it for them and they might lose impulse control.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like try to like hug her or something.
Or
it's probably like, I wonder if it's like innocent sexual assault. Like he's trying to hold her hand.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, they have to do a timer,
Yeah.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi. Yeah.
A 2-second hold on the hug. Like,
I'm sorry, I lost control. I hugged her for 4 Mississippi.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it just seems like a lot of thigh chafing and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, Comic-Con, it's fun. Again, I wish I could like some of this stuff. I don't. Someone was just one of my friends. I have friends, comic friends from California who like all the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them just sent me or sent our like a group of us the Fantastic Four trailer.
I was just watching that.
Oh, you were?
Right before we recorded, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it, yeah.
And I remember that from when I was young. I remember the rock guy. Is that
the
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember him and the Human Torch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought Fantastic Four was DC, but I guess it's Marvel, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to love it. I don't know if I don't follow it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be real big. I mean, it's so weird. My thing is, there's just too many things to nerd out on. There's just too much. There's too much to consume, and I can't for example, Royal Rumble just happened. The wrestling.
Are you watching wrestling on Netflix?
No, I don't have Netflix.
Oh,
I watch little TV, very little TV. For someone who is like part of my thing is like to be the truth sayer for what's happening in the world and stuff. I consume very little news media. It's just I think it's just like I doom scroll sometimes on social media, and like that's too much. Like I can't like keep up with everything.
Yeah.
But because like I think my attention span is like lessons over the years because of social media.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to like want to sit down and watch a 2-hour movie or want to sit down and watch an hour-long show, So it's like I just like I do how I used to do when I was in like elementary school when I was too poor to watch a new movie. Like I basically would find out from someone the gist of the movie just so when people started talking about it, I knew just enough to keep in the conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I like that.
And that's kind of how I do it. Like now, I used to be a big movie buff before I started stand up.
Yeah.
I've talked about this several times on podcasts in the past, but basically, internet porn ruined that. Like I was a movie buff. I wanted to be an amateur filmmaker, and I had like 2.5 years worth of film stuff. I had like short films, like all kinds of sketches, all this stuff. Lost it all. And from then on, I kind of like lost my passion for film. Like I used to watch all the movies. I used to know the plot line. I used to know this actor was in this movie and in this movie and this movie. I used to know all the like the inside jokes, like references and stuff in movies. Now I'm just like lost on a lot of it because I just stopped watching so much.
Yeah.
And also they just keep pumping out stuff. Like that was the thing. It was a lot easier to be a movie buff mid-90s, early 2000s.
It was, yeah, because it was either in theaters or it was maybe on TV, but you have to watch it. You have to catch it.
Yeah, they had it. They had a very limited amount of movies on TV, and by the time they got to TV, you'd already seen it through either VHS, DVD, or the theaters.
Yeah.
And everything was very streamlined. Now there's just movies coming at you. Each streaming platform has their own movies, and it's like I don't have the time of the day. Even if I had the money, I don't have the time to watch to get every streaming platform and watch every movie on each one.
Oh yeah, it's too much. It is too much. I don't really watch news. I find out news from my wife or if like people are shouting it in the streets, if it's like loud enough.
Oh yeah,
a significant event. But I find not paying attention to news makes me happier. So I sort of like remain intentionally uninformed about like day to day going on in the world.
Yeah,
and then there's too much new content, so I will end up rewatching stuff that I like over again, but in different period. Like right now, I'm rewatching The Wire.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
yeah. I missed it the first time around. So like I
didn't watch it when it was originally aired.
I noticed like one of the things I do consume a lot of is like YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
and even then it's like YouTube
great.
Shorts. Come on, buddy. All right. Like YouTube Shorts, and then what happens is like I'll watch one clip on a YouTube thing, and then it'll just like commandeer my algorithm, and it's like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna microdose this movie or show in my YouTube Shorts for some reason.
Yeah.
And then what happens is then I'm like, well, now I kind of want to watch this show. And so then it'll just like that's how I'll maybe watch something, a movie or a show or something like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right. Like I want to keep up with current trends in the news and stuff. But it's like, here's the thing. Like a lot of times I have a lot of friends who, like we were talking about how, like divorcees, they're like, oh yeah, I'm the bitch that you left and I'm the bitch that whatever.
Yeah,
that type of stuff. But then the other end is I have friends that are like bleeding hearts that like, they're always posting about all these things in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then when you ask them like, why do you do that? They're like, well, if I don't post this, like who will? And it's like, oh, in their mind, they're like, oh, my platform. This is what I'm using my platform for. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not Taylor Swift. I don't have the platform.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the platform that's going to make a difference. Because honestly, at this point, if I post a lot of that shit, I'm just posting to other friends who are already posting that shit.
Yeah,
it's like my thing is like, not that I want to be blissfully ignorant, because technically that's what I want. That's what like the government wants and all these things. They want their people to be blissfully ignorant, and that's why capitalism is such a beautiful thing, because it's like, well, no, we're gonna make it to where all you have time for is work, and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, I've been around death now a bunch. Life is so fleeting and short.
Yeah.
Like my thing is, if my posting of this is not actually going to help or benefit them, I'm not going to post it.
Which I think a lot of people like that should admit to themselves that they're only posting it to like look like a good person, but it's not actually doing anything.
Yes.
It's just for the appearance of being like, I'm one of the good ones. So that's people should just post that. Just post, I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah, it's like the Gillis bit, like, I'm not racist,
Yeah, I don't know that one, but
he was talking. Shane Gillis was talking about like his first special. He was talking about where he moved to New York. Like he lived in central Pennsylvania, and it's full of like Trump voters and like. And then he moved to New York, and it's just a lot of people like posting stuff. It's like, I'm not racist. They were posting like the black squares on June 2nd.
Oh yeah,
that shit. Like, and I find myself like a man like in between the worlds, because on one hand, I don't like Trump and all those guys and people that are really for him and shit. But I also get very annoyed by all my liberal friends, because they're posting all this stuff, all this sad, detrimental stuff. And it's like, but what is it doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Okay, you want to make a difference, but is this making a difference? Or are you just presenting yourself as some fucking like, oh, see, I care because you posted some sad shit that's depressing me? I wanted to get on Instagram and look at titties. Now I gotta watch about Gaza Strip. Like, what the fuck? Like, the titties were making me happy. The Gaza Strip shit's bumming me out.
Yeah.
And then I don't like. What am I gonna do about that?
Yeah, like is Marcus Crespo gonna be like, there shouldn't be war between Israel and Palestine, and you think both sides are gonna read Marcus Crespo's story on Instagram and be like, you know what, this hundreds of year old conflict, let's stop it, because you see this poignant story.
No, it makes no difference. I post anything about Gaza,
it's so ridiculous.
I post anything about racism, it makes no difference. It's not going to change. What might make a difference? If I post this clip of this girl's sudded up tits, it may help feed her 3 kids.
Yeah. I think it's what's annoying too is if they'll say to you, like, if you're not posting this stuff, then you're a bad person, or you're for, they're like, if you don't post like free Gaza stuff on your thing, then you want Gaza to be wiped off the face of the, they jump to a conclusion.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I just want to like hang out and just not be involved in this,
Yeah. So what I do is I don't post anything but my fucking shows.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
my shows
the
and what I do.
You stick to you just do what you do, and then you can't worry about.
Yeah, because I can't donate to Gaza if I'm not making any fucking money.
Yeah,
you know, that's the way I see it. It's like because I don't have the reach for it. My 2,000.
Where's my humanitarian aid,
dude? Yeah, dude. Also, my 2,000 followers are already posting that shit.
Yeah.
Or B, they're not the demo for it.
Yeah.
I don't have any congressional candidates on my following list.
Yeah. It's such a bummer. People who like politics are such a bummer, and I feel like this was a more, and I don't know if it's just because I was younger and I didn't realize, but like I feel like since social media has come about, more people have been like more political, and it's such a bummer because it's so boring and it's so divisive.
Yeah.
And there's no day-to-day people have no actual power or say. So all it will do is either make you agree with who you're talking about or argue with who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Both don't get you very far unless you could have like an actual intelligent conversation of an exchange of ideas. But there's so few people who could do that. You really have to. You almost have to find people who think like you do, you know, or slight differences. I like that. I like when people present shit and you're like, yeah.
Well, my thing is, I don't always like cheering for the things I already like.
Yeah.
I like being presented with something and being like, oh, like a contrast to because I feel that's how people learn.
It is, yeah, it is.
Like, so one of my favorite things in my set is like when I'm able to do Trojan horse and the topic or an idea of something that I know this audience is not going to like, but I'm not overt with it.
Yeah.
So like I have a couple jokes about like, you know, I'm not gay, but I'm built like I would probably be a good one. Like and in getting like a conservative crowd to laugh at that joke about me getting butt fucked or whatever.
Yeah.
Just the idea of it, like I just like that because it's like I like getting people to laugh at something that they probably wouldn't normally laugh at.
Yeah.
And then also I don't know, man.
I do that. I say I sometimes think I should be gay to have more fun on the weekends.
Yeah, you know, like it's just because I know usually conservative rooms are like I ain't about that gay shit, you know, like that. And so. Well, also another thing I notice about a lot of people that are political, a lot of times, especially on the liberal end, a lot of people I know that are super political grew up very affluent.
Yeah,
where they had the time and money and freedom to just
a privilege to worry about a lot of the shit that
it is.
Do, you know?
When you're poor, you don't have time or the effort to worry about that shit.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I mean, you get upset at like the price of eggs, and you just like try to yell at whoever's the leader.
Yeah,
but like. People that I know.
That's where I think a lot of people said like the left took it too far with a lot of some issues because it became about stuff that like actual day-to-day people don't care about, and they're like who even thinks about this when you're trying to like when you're working like 2 jobs or you're like a single mom or you're scraping to get by or you're blah blah blah. And I hate I hate conservative people too because a lot of them are greedy and evil but like I was always very liberal all through growing up through college and then it wasn't until like things started to get more and more extreme where I was like I'm a traditional liberal person, I guess what you call it. I was like I'm liberal how people were liberal in the 15, 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
Which is now considered probably like middle of the road.
Yeah, you're almost like a libertarian or some shit like that.
Yeah, know? But then if you say libertarian, I feel like people just think, oh, you're a Trump lover, but you just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
You know? Which so it sounds like a cop out, and also libertarians are like they take their shit too far. They're like build your own. Someone on I forget what podcast they say.
Yeah,
they always go build your own roads. They talk about like privatizing everything and.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I hate politics. I think it's so dumb. Like I love food and music and things that bring people together. I always say that, and people go "fuck you." You know.
Yeah, you're a hippie.
Yeah, it's I feel I'm like a beach hippie at heart, and it seems like life could be easier if everyone like kind of chilled out a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, we got too many anger heads and warmongers and shit that it just nothing's ever gonna go. War's never gonna go away. Greed is never gonna go away. People are just so.
This is why I think the idea of like talking about types of people is good, or gives us a lot.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm very fascinated by like certain aspects of conservative values and stuff, because in my past there was points in time where I could have very easily been.
Yeah, you said you were religious, right?
Well, I was religious. I also worked a lot of manual labor jobs and security. Yeah, that whole world, security forces and police forces, it's very conservative.
Yeah,
very conservative. Because I remember when I worked at the mall, like we'd get in our vehicles, do vehicle patrol, and it was consistently stuck on conservative talk radio. It didn't matter what race the person was driving it. That's what they listened to.
That's so funny.
And I was like, am I the only one listening to fucking music right now? I don't want to listen to this shit.
Back to fish.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear fucking Hannity and Combs right now. I want to listen about this rapper trying to fuck on a weekend. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. That's funny. I think it's good. I think it's funny. Like, I don't know. I used to always think like it was sort of that, like people who were like listen to conservative talk radio. Like I used to always feel like, oh, that's like, if you like politics, that's like certain people like politics, but it's so boring, and like who would actually like that?
Yeah.
And then as the years have gone by, it just seemed like it crept into more and more common people's. It feels like people almost feel like they have to have an opinion because of social media or just the attention. It's so much worse in California. I can't even describe to you how bad it is in California with that regard.
Oh yeah.
Also, people will talk to you and make they'll make assumptions on your beliefs because they will feel like this is the only way you should or could feel. I can't see it any other way,
Okay, yeah.
Like it would be like, and that happens here on the other side of it. Like there'll be like a conservative person.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, can you believe like blah, blah, blah? Can you believe Joe Biden's blah, blah, blah falling off a bike or whatever?
Yeah.
And they're like, but in California, they'd be like, did you hear Trump ate a child?
Yeah.
whatever they want to say, but they assume your stance and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's so much stronger in stronger places, and I'm like, man, it's such a strange way to be.
Well, see, here's my thing is I think really the problem is on both sides is they stay in their own circles of the same type.
Yeah. Like an echo chamber.
When you're in an echo chamber, that's the problem with any type of prejudice, racism, sexism, is if you're not in contact with people of different groups and
the exposure theory.
Yeah, like it's like the like I've seen movies about it where they have like they do like a parable version of it where it's like for example, Monsters Inc. They're like, oh, these monsters, and all they're doing is just trying to make kids scream so they can power their city. And then they found out they can make the kids laugh. But the thing is, the humans and the monsters, they're no different.
Yeah.
And it's like that with humans. It's like on one hand, like for example, people that are like, oh, gays. I'm like, how often are you around gays?
Yeah.
If you're not around gays, then you don't really know. Like the only really difference is, okay, they're a little more flamboyant, but like let's say you had a gay dude or lesbian, and you're a redneck trucker dude.
Yeah.
Lesbian and redneck trucker. You guys are doing the same thing. You're pursuing pussy. You probably drive the same thing. You know what I mean? And it was like that, like rappers and like country boys. It's like if you listen to their music, the music's very the same. It's like I'm from this place and I'm this and I drive this and I love women and I dress like this. I'm never changing.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, but you're not seeing it because you're stuck in your own little world. You know, I don't know. It's kind of
no. I'm a huge believer in that. I think they call it the exposure theory, but
yeah,
it's so true. And then the people who like lock themselves in their home develop like fear. It's like Karens, you know, like suburban Karens.
Yeah.
Like suburban moms or whatever, they'll like sit in their house and they're like alone all the time, or they're with kids. And so they're not exposed to the real world anymore. They're just in their own little bubble.
Yeah.
And then they get upset about people outside, and they're so disconnected, you know?
Yeah.
And they have no like their frame of reference is like the insanity they think up in their head.
Yeah.
And it's
you get stuck in your own you get stuck in your own world, and then what's in your own world you think is the only thing that is acceptable.
Yeah.
And so, like for example, like the Karens, for example, they're like, well, why are they not inside, miserable at everything outside? And so then you complain. You're like, what? No, you're the fucking weird one here. You know?
Yeah.
I
love those. It's very funny. People are so funny, you know, and it's exposure to different types of people is that's why I think travel is so good, but like just being open to like engaging with people and all of that is so important for learning and growing and all that happy horse shit.
Yeah.
You realize like the more people you meet or the more places you go, you realize how similar people are everywhere. Everyone like essentially wants the same stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people eat different food, or they sound different, or they dress different, or whatever. They have different hats.
Yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, it's like all the same. So things should be easier than they are, but it's that's utopian hippie nonsense of me talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think really what a lot of bias is based off of is when you take your own personal preferences and you force it on other people. And your personal preferences are law.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's the sign of an ignorant and poorly traveled and like an ungrown soul, you know?
Yeah.
Like a person who lacks the experience to be like it says a lot about people who are like that, and I know a lot, you know.
Yeah, for example, I don't like mayonnaise.
Indians.
I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the way it smells. You know, honestly,
I heard a guy on a podcast once say he doesn't like any white condiments because it looks like cum.
Yeah, that was me.
I was like, that's so funny.
That was me, probably. I'm not a big fan. I mean, honestly, there's very few exceptions. But
so no mayo ever in any circumstance? Potato salad or
I don't like potato salad.
Tuna salad.
I don't
or
like
anything?
tuna salad. I don't like tuna.
Mayo on a burger,
unless it's strips of like sushi grade tuna on a bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't like tuna. I don't like tuna in a can.
Japanese mayo. That's
I don't
nice.
I'm not a big aioli.
That's the sushi. The one on sushi.
Oh no, I don't like that either.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No,
okay.
I don't like mayo across the board.
Anytime. Okay.
I don't like when people try to trick me and put in fucking aiolis and shit. You know.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit either. You know. I don't even like it when if you're gonna use it as a binder for a meat, just do it and don't fucking tell me, man.
Don't tell you, yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is I don't like mayo. Honestly, the smell of it makes me almost vomit. But
yeah, if you waft mayo from you go like stick your nose in, it is like a weird tangy. It almost like no matter when you open it, it smells like it's gone bad.
Yeah,
you know, like it has like a tang. It has like a. Mayonnaise was not a huge part of my life, but marrying a Southerner.
Yeah,
Southerners love mayonnaise, man.
Yeah,
I'm an olive oil head, you know.
Which I find it funny because like Southerners love mayonnaise, but I don't like mayonnaise. But if a Southerner who loves mayonnaise wants to get married, I'm gonna let him get married. All right, I'm not gonna be like, you get your mayonnaise loving ass out of my country, you and your mayo loving, So like that's how I am. Is like I don't have to like something to want it to allow it to be flourished. Yeah, like you could not like gay sex. You can be like, I don't like gay sex because it reminds me of mayonnaise.
Yeah, I think, it's funny. I really do think it comes down to like how much you've lived or experienced or exposed to.
Yeah,
and like you have like a better understanding of the world, and I think people who are like live in a small frame of reference, however that may be, one way or the other, it leads to a lot of like misinformed anger or like whatever. The views of the world are like, because most things are like not. Most things are pretty good, Yeah.
It
seems. Look at these dogs passed down. Well, all right. Any last? I
guess last couple of things is I may be jaded, but I'm still a love guy. I'm still a love guy. I like love. I like the idea of
that's the important thing. You can't if you're like a romantic, you gotta like be realistic, but I think you can't lose that because it eventually, like, if you find the right spouse, you want to provide them like all of that love.
Yeah.
So it's
I think love in general, even if it's not romantic, I think just the idea of loving in its basic form, I think is the most main component in a lot of things that are good.
Yeah.
Like compassion, empathy, like for example, people say that like, oh, I don't like dogs. I'm a cat person. But like, or like, I don't like kids.
It's a red flag.
I hate kids. Do you hate kids?
Yeah.
If you hate kids, then you could see a kid get shot in front of you and it wouldn't affect you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lie. You just don't want kids in your personal life because it will affect you. Like I think a lot of people don't realize that's a component of love. Because if you have no love in general in any capacity, then that's grounds for like psychopath, sociopath. Basically you just become it's just nature. So that means you can literally kill someone. Like for example, a praying mantis. A praying mantis doesn't understand love.
Yeah,
a praying mantis is all biological. It's like I mate and then I eat my husband.
I eat rip their heads off. Right?
They rip their heads off and then they eat them.
Yeah,
they eat them, and then it's all biological. So the absence of
like
love,
a metaphor for marriage.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. But I'm just not gonna go spend $40 on Whitman samplers for single girls I know anymore. But I believe the idea of like somebody popping up in my world is pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Jacksonville's sexiest man bound to get snatched up.
Yeah,
literally.
I can't be the sexiest man and not believe in love, dude. Yeah.
Well, it's not cool to post motivational quotes in front of mountains on Facebook, but it is cool to be foolish.
Hell yeah, dude.